Why don't you come up? And then, so Bethany's going to talk a little bit about just etiquette, address, but let's just make sure that Logan Shutters doing a piece, Maisie, Lord Williams, praying that your voice can heal up there. Grady, Austin Bowell, Izzy, guitar ensemble, doing lots of stuff.
Yep.
Hey, representative Carter playing, Xander singing, string ensemble, and Nicholas, who's pray for Nick as well. He's not feeling fantastic, so Nick's playing as well. So did I leave anybody that was wanting to do the recital or expecting to that didn't leave your name? So everybody signed up that needs to be signed up? Okay. All right. So Bethany, let's talk a little bit about.
I think I have the order put together, so just so you kind of have an idea. We'll start with the string ensemble, and then we'll go Austin, and then Nick, Xander, and then the guitar ensemble, the ones that are all three of you. Then Carter, Maisie, Izzy, Logan, and then you and Scott's duet, and then Michelle. Sound good?
Okay.
You're gonna end the recital.
And then somebody brings a bouquet of flowers up to you.
Yes. Shower flowers on the stage.
So I just had a couple of people ask about etiquette. I think most of you have performed before, so you have a good idea of it. But just remember, we don't announce you, just go up when it's your turn. So make sure you get a program order before the recital starts, so you know when it's your turn. Wally and Craig Grady will be making sure the stage gets set between each performance. So like drums, whatever you guys need brought up, guitar ensemble, whatever needs to be brought up, those kinds of things. We'll be there and we're readily available for you. The dress is concert black, so if you're performing, you need to be in concert black. And then when you're done performing, people will applaud for you, and that's a wonderful thing to receive applause. So whenever someone applauds for you, you have to acknowledge it, and you do that by bowing. All right, so make sure at the end of your performance that you bow. It's really simple, you know, it's just a quick 1, 2, 3, up. That's all you have to do. Got it? All right. Rehearsing ahead of time. The guitar ensemble is going to be there at 5 to rehearse. String ensemble is coming between 5:30 and 6, somewhere in there. Vocalists, we're going to tell Joe 6. Does that work? And then the rest of the soloists come around 6, and we'll just try to get the rest of them in until the recital starts. Does that sound good? Starts at 7 at WL.
And then maybe Logan, can you be in charge of getting like the snare over there? Yeah. And like the right stand and all that kind of stuff. I don't think, obviously guitar, you guys bring, they have music stands there. So bring like your little gas pedal, whatever you need there.
Oh. I'm not
Accelerate.
Oh.
So, any other questions about the recital? If you're not performing, it's required.
Yes, if you're not performing, it's required to be there, so make sure you're there.
Support your fellow.
And then also make sure you're provider friends.
Make sure
Oh, I know
I
that it's
forget.
coming to me, so I'm not sure what time he's coming to tonight yet.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be before 5.
When you know, when you let her know, she.
I can try. I mean, he's
It's
already.
not as fun, I'll
Well-
plug you in there. You go tomorrow.
Yeah, you can go to. It's actually very. It sounds. It's still. Any other questions about the recital? Okay. All right. Very good. I think we will. Hey, Steve, were you planning on being there? Recital? You think? I wonder if we could stream it. Just. I know sometimes parents are kind of like that, can't make it. Would that be helpful? To have a stream? Do you think we could do that? Just like a real simple.
Probably. Talk to Josh about that.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it, so just right now. So, I guess I could always phone up.
Instagram Live.
You could, because a lot of the y'all's parents, they're not hip to the gram.
That's true.
They're still on Facebook. It's like. All right. Okay. So, anybody just like really Sir?
One more.
Not two. Is this related to Dr. Art's favor? Are you the favor?
If you're in the back.
Is that
Yeah.
part of your kid? All right. Listen, turn to Jake.
Jake Gomez. Okay, someone who knows.
Oh.
It's a process.
All right, let's give Caleb our undivided attention here. What's up? What are you playing for, somebody?
It's called Doctor. Hey Caleb, if you mess up, you can blame it on me. Okay, yeah, I will.
Caleb, look at the music real quick. Just look at it.
Where's that chart?
Wow, I mean, just kind of going from the other piece you played in lab to this piece, you put some serious work into this. Good job with that. Just continue to try to bring out the phrasing in that right hand especially, because right now it's kind of sounding like, I mean, you're still getting a few things under your fingers, which is totally fine, but it's kind of at this point still sounding a little bit like two-dimensional, kind of flat. So what you want to do is, as you really get into that, the phrasing in your right hand, it's going to kind of bring it to life. It's almost like those cards you get sometimes when you open them up, it just like comes alive, you know. So like it's like right now it feels kind of two-dimensional, but you want to really bring those melodies, that melody, those phrasing, you want to try to bring it to life. So it'll happen, but I think probably most of your concentration is still trying to think about notes and rhythms, right?
Yeah.
So once you can begin that process of phrasing and really try to make it kind of three-dimensional and tell a story there, so yeah. What do you think there, Dr. Faber?
Oh, I was thinking back to my piano days, I passed piano proficiency, and pedaling was always a challenge for me. Because you're not only doing this, you're doing the foot, and I was thinking, you're doing really well on piano, pedaling, for everything else that you're thinking about and going after. So bravo for you, you've made huge strides. And when you started out the very first time, you thought, oh, that's lovely. You're just going after that. And so third time was a charm.
Yeah.
There you go. Way to go, buddy.
I would jump on the third time's a charm. As a performer, it's really, really easy if it doesn't start off right to get rattled and just collapse. So kudos to you for sticking it out, because the third time you jumped on and then you were off to the races. So good job with that. That's not an easy thing to do. And then talking about Wally's bringing out the melody, it's one thing that might happen. We said this before, is look at those melody lines and hum them. Think, if I was singing this, how would I sing these phrases and things like that? And then try and translate that to your hands. But yeah, nice job. I enjoyed it.
Is this the first time you've played it in front of people?
There's many people.
Have you played it in front of friends? Okay.
Have you played on that piano?
Just before now, like,
It's never a bad idea to get a couple of practices
And
on
jury's
before you're
out
going.
this piano, so you want to.
Hey, nice job, buddy. Yeah, hey, Caleb, what do you think about these evolution shirts we just came this out? So the trees.
You going next?
That way, Xander's gonna, I don't know if that's how it goes, but. What? Gotta save the trees, man.
I mean.
Other trees, Did Xander Salas show up on anybody's raps? Spotify raps?
Mine did.
Yeah.
My kids love his music.
Oh, man, there you go.
Whoa.
They're always like, we listened to your student on the drive to school.
Dude, keep releasing, you got extra breath.
dang.
Does that mean you get a video from Xander? If you get Spotify rap with Xander?
Oh, I don't know.
You gotta get them to come in so you can give them their autograph. That would be safe.
Come to the recital. All right, so what are you playing for us, man?
I'm playing a Renaissance piece called Brahmin Gay. It's by Broussard. It's got a little thing on the top of my music, so I'm just gonna read that because it's kind of falsy. If it's not your thing. Broussard was a highly respected French flutenist who was trained as a lawyer. His large collection of his own and other composers' music was published in Cologne, which is like a city of France, in 1603. So Bromley is basically just like a fast-paced dance, and it's characterized by like a drone bass. This is supposed to be played at 144. I will not be playing at 144 because I'm not that good, but we'll be playing it around 100 maybe-ish. But yeah, so anyway, that's this. mentioned that it was short, so I was playing through it twice, but I figured you.
So Hudson, what are you doing to kind of help yourself with that tempo, like pushing the tempo? Like what are some strategies you're doing, like when you're practicing it?
Well, one thing I've been doing with Professor Workman is I've been playing through it like slow with a metronome, and then as I can I started like a speed that I know I can play it at, and then just kind of slowly pump it up until I get to the point where I start like making mistakes, and then I just kind of keep drilling it at that speed that I've got.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that sounds good.
I think it was over 100. Oh, okay.
It was 144. I was not 144, but I don't know the exact one I put it at. I did play a little quick, but that's probably just because of nerves. Because I got to myself on that one part and it's kind of like lost it.
Hey Hudson, are you feeling it in a one?
Pardon?
Are you feeling it in a one?
I'm not sure.
And the reason why I ask is there were measures that it felt like it just went jump, beat that, jump, that, jump, beat that. And that's when you felt, at least from my ears, that's when you felt quite comfortable. So that was curious to me, whether you're thinking it in one or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
I haven't thought about it.
And letting 2 and 3 be a little bit lighter in emphasis.
That's a good point. That might help you speed it up too. Like if you're feeling, because you're gonna have to subdivide it. If you know, so if you can just feel those all the ones, the downbeats, you know, and that can help you maybe as you're trying to speed it up.
Yeah.
If you're trying to count if you're trying to count the quarters, it's gonna kind of bog you down.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Also, just be aware of, it's in D minor, but it's kind of toying around with different modes of where the natural minor, but there's also a little bit of Dorian, like in the second line, the B naturals. So just be aware, it's always helpful, like if you're just trying to learn just notes that are just kind of on a staff, as opposed to kind of understanding like harmonically and melodically, that can help you kind of learn the piece if you're more aware of what the piece is doing, in music theory. So
It's very nice, Hudson. Good job.
I say when you messed up, don't say anything. 'Cause I honestly didn't really know. You could have been like a little pause, like for the people who don't have music. So I would just keep fighting to do that. Because that's what I think Scott said that after his recital.
Yeah.
So yeah, just keep going.
yeah, that's a good word, Jake, for the recital on Friday. So if you guys are performing, if you do, you're never going to play a piece totally perfect. I mean, there's always going to be little things. Just keep going. I mean, really, the biggest thing, tempo-wise, just keep it going. I mean, there are times when, like, if it's just like you just totally lose your spot, and you're just like, okay, I've got to figure out a spot to restart here. That's that does happen, but if it's kind of minor stuff, just keep going. Just keep trying, because most of the people aren't going to know that song. They won't. They won't even know it. So, all right, that's a good job, buddy. Oh, okay.
I'm only playing one. I was gonna play two, but time purposes.
Is this one that you're singing with? Oh
my gosh.
I mean, Jake.
Yeah, I am singing to it.
Okay, all right. We need we need this. Can you show that? I think it's an electric, right?
Just mute the DCA. Or DCA.
They're all on right now. Which one?
Electric.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, so I have most confidence singing. Joining guitar emphasis was really weird for me. Like I've already been playing like worship music and like just finger picking stuff. So playing the guitar has been like really weird. So I am switching to voice emphasis, but I still think that I've learned a lot in the guitar and how to really like work on like patterns and being able to sing with that pattern. So you can focus on the guitar or my voice in this, whatever you want. But just know that I'm way more confident with my voice.
What song are you doing?
So I'm playing a song called Do It All Again, which is by Joshua Bassett, which is my favorite non-Christian artist. And the reason I like him is because I think he resembles like the very like picking pattern and singing. Like that is just how I want to play the guitar. Because I always want the guitar to accompany my voice, which guitar just doesn't make sense. That's why I'm switching to voice. So, but I always want the guitar to accompany my voice. So, everybody's like, you know it, sing along. But this song really, the lyrics hit home for me. So, yeah, definitely know that I'm okay, but it's pretty kind of sad. So, here we go. It's been 6 weeks since we said our goodbyes. I can't forget what was. Excuse the mess I made when you were mine. I'm still learning how to love. I know you're nervous, but I won't let you fall. We weren't perfect, but you were worth it all. If it were my call, I'd do it all again. I'd do it all again. I'm not yet used to only being friends. It hurts too much to hide. I watched you walk into another's arms. I thought we had more time. I know you're nervous, but I won't let you fall. We weren't perfect, but you were worth it all. If it were my call, I'd do it all. I wouldn't blame you for putting yourself first. I'm not afraid to say something first, even if it hurts. I need you to know. I know you're nervous, but I won't let you fall. We weren't perfect, but you were worth it. I know you're nervous, but I won't let you fall. We weren't perfect, but you were worth it all. If it were my call, I'd do it all again. I'd do it all again. I'd do it all again.
Hey, when you're, yeah, very nice, very nice. When you're doing the finger picking, just be careful that, certain notes of those chords that aren't speaking as much, like if you get,
Yeah.
you get more consistent. Yeah, it's like a little, so just, I don't know, but I mean, you're on it. Like,
The hard part is that my guitar is a bright sounding Taylor. I got that on purpose, but I didn't realize that like you really need to make that sound ring out. And so that's
So just like on piano, one of the things that pianists that we do is when we're playing voicing the chords, we have to be careful which, like if you bring in the inner voices out too much, or it's like we have to kind of be careful. So it's probably very similar on guitar. Like just make sure. Like I was hearing a lot of the kind of middle and upper kind of voices, but just So but you're on it. I mean it's you're right there with it. So I'm just kind of wanting to hear the, like if it's a triad or whatever that you're trying to finger pick, I want to hear those three notes a little bit more even. But that'll just be something, just keep working on. So yeah.
I did a
you shared though, Jake, I felt like I got to know most people a little more who you are and seeing you perform, so that was nice. Just specifically vocally when you're singing with your guitar, just watch your posture. I know it's hard to watch your fingers and do all the things, but you're definitely.
I also sing a love song that the class was kind of weird, so I was kind of like
I
was trying to just like not look and like close my eyes. Like, I'm just not gonna look. Brady's gonna look me in the eye. Or, like I'm just so I was trying not to do that. But
Just so everyone is strained, and it felt like maybe a couple times you were, just
yeah,
couldn't physically convey or
Yeah.
need to support your sound.
make sure it's out there.
If you were standing up while you were playing, which adds a whole different dynamic, but standing up would then help vocally as opposed to sitting. When you're sitting, it's really easy just to start leaning over, especially when you're playing,
Yeah.
which only hurts, makes that harder. A question, I'm just curious, the guitar part that you played.
Yeah.
How did you learn that? What did you do?
That's a good question. So I know some patterns, like there's just a ton of picking patterns that I just learned on, like gratitude. Like you can kind of add that in there. You can also add this part. That's from a Phil Wickham song that I learned. And then there's other parts that I look at, which I'll listen to and okay, what's going on. And I'm like, I'll learn that part.
So you learned it from listening to it.
Yeah, a lot of the time. But then there was one part though where it was actually integrated for this part. So it was like, I said it was gonna be or something like that, but he decided to do a flick. So I was like, alright, so I had that. But a lot of it was listening. If I needed to look at a YouTube video to make sure it's sounding the way I can. But this one was more, the more finger picking stuff is more just kind of like
Which is really cool that you can do that.
I don't know if I can do it for every song, so I don't want to give myself too much credit.
I'm going to ask, is there anybody else sitting up there looking at that going, wow, that's really cool that he can do that? I mean,
The hardest
that's,
part was just being able to sing while doing that. That's what I really struggled with.
I was raising my hand.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fun, because like even in the piano, when you have to do some of those repetitive, like ostinato patterns,
It's hard.
it's hard to sing over those patterns.
Yes, very.
But I was going to play a song, I don't know if Brooklyn's going to be mad at me that I didn't play it, but I was going to play a song that, this was just more challenging for me, so I thought that if I'm going to pick a song, I'd do it. I'm going to play. It was one that I learned with a pick. I learned playing the guitar without a pick. Never used a pick. I just thought they were dumb. Like, you can literally play. That's a lot. But I realized when you're on stage for worship, it sounds way better with a pick. So, yeah, after many times of getting stuck in there, there's not a song.
Nice job, man.
Thank you.
Hey, Americans, we have.
Those would be awesome.
I was like, oh, it's amazing. What do you play first, Americans?
Amazing Grace.
Hey.
do kind of want to feel like the quarter notes in this one. So I would just keep, I think the biggest thing on this one, Marcus, is just keeping that rhythm of the three kind of going, just that pulse. And so, whatever you need to do, like it could just be, maybe you just take like little 2-bar phrases, but just kind of like going over and over until you feel like there's no hindrance, like getting into that next measure and keeping that piece. So once you've done it, bum, 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 bum. That just kind of, that quarter just has to kind of keep rolling. Like it just can't really slow down or stop. So I think just keep on it until you really feel comfortable. It could be, maybe it's like the left hand, switching, kind of doing the bass chord. I'm not sure where it is that you kind of get that, where it's just kind of causing you just to pause just a little bit, but you just got to get comfortable enough where you can just keep that beat rolling. And there's those little bluesy things at the end on the second page, the little, which is kind of cool. So you kind of even lean into that maybe a little bit more. Just that's nice, like a nice little surprise. I mean, I kind of felt like it could go that way with this arrangement, but it's nice to kind of have a little bit of bluesy kind of notes in there with Amazing Grace. So.
One thought I had as you're performing it or learning it, I don't know if you had a particular style or a particular sound in mind. Like when I was hearing it, I was thinking this could sound perhaps like a Dixieland jazz band arrangement. And if I was picturing that, then it would affect how I played it. Or another part, I thought it could sound kind of like a gospel quartet. And if it was a gospel, like there were some bass lines, I thought, I could hear a bass singing bum, 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 or something like that. And that would then affect how I played it. So perhaps, if you had something, a particular style or a particular genre in mind, to pattern it after, to give you, I'm going this direction with it. I don't know if you had that or not, but that might, just give you something to work toward. I like like Wally said, the little rolls on the second page. I thought those were a really nice touch. I like those. And I like the arrangement. It's a nice arrangement too.
And I think along with what Dr. Brack was saying is the idea of the triplet is actually going into the next measure. So even if you do king, vika, king, vika, it kind of pushes it over the bar line rhythmically, and then add in the half notes that happen. I don't know if that.
Do you guys have any like practical ways, because this is something we were working on for a while, on this beat camp, go to each one, not pausing in the bar line. So if you have any practical suggestions, aside from just drilling it with the metronome consistently.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of, I think asking yourself, because I think all of us, whatever piece you're working on, you have to get to a point where you can keep that beat going. So I mean, just kind of ask yourself, what's tripping you up? Like, is it a fingering thing? So like, is it kind of coming off those triplets and then like landing on the next chord? Is that, or is it like, sometimes you have that left hand? So you kind of have to almost investigate, what's sort of making me kind of pause there, and so then you just try to fix it. So if it's a fingering thing, and you might need to write in like, oh man, like every time I play this, I'm playing it with a different fingering. Like I'm working on this Bach Goldberg variation, a couple of those variations, and I was noticing that every time I came to a certain spot, I was kind of playing with different fingerings, and it wasn't helping me because so I had to write in like, okay, every time I come here, I've got to use this finger to lead into this, and then that helped. And then I kind of practiced that for a while. It's like, oh, that actually made it very consistent. So if you're finding yourself like kind of like the fingering is not consistent, that could be a problem. So I think you just have to ask yourself, what's causing you to pause and not,
I think it's your left hand,
the left hand.
because you're hitting beat two really hard. And I think you're lingering on it. You can move in the rest on beat three so that you're ready for the down.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, maybe there might be a couple spots you still need to just do hands separately, Like just kind of go just work on that left hand, so that bass chord is just so confident, right? You're just like, the most one you have to think about, you're just going, it could be that. It could be that, so. Yeah, Xander.
I haven't taken piano lessons in a few years, but when I used to, one thing I would do is when I would go through the piece, but only play the downbeat of each measure, and just so then every measure was a new reference point that became pretty familiar to me. If I tripped up through the measures, okay, beat one's coming. I know beat one because I've gone through and I practiced the downbeat and beat one every measure, just through the whole piece. So sometimes if I was slowing down or lingering out the last note of the measure, trying to get the next one, I would be all right, I'm just gonna run this piece and only do beat one of each measure, but still in time with the metronome. It's I have a lot of time to think about beat one, but then I become really familiar with it, and then every measure is a new reference point.
Yeah, you might just need to loop, like I was saying earlier, loop just a couple of measures at a time. So just do those first two measures and just loop it, just keep playing it, and then you move on, and then you try to do the first 3 or 4 measures, and then you're kind of saying is there anything that's causing me to kind of looping that, and then I've had to do that with certain pieces. I just go phrase by phrase and just get it until it feels really good, and then you kind of move on to it. So sometimes it's kind of really slow moving that way, but yeah.
One thing that would help me when I was trying to learn something like this, a lot of times trying to bring that melody out in the right hand, my left hand would sometimes get in the way, so I would really have to hammer down and learn that left hand so that I knew the left hand automatic. And then the left hand I didn't have to worry about, and I could bring those melody things out. So in this one, it's interesting, the left hand plays a bass note and then 2 more notes to make a chord. So for this one, I would take those 3 notes and just put them all together. So C, E, G.
Yeah.
And that, to help me then, when I'm playing them, I just play this chord, but I just go boom, boom.
Yeah.
So that's something that I always had to do, is just get that left hand down so that the right hand could be free then at that point.
All right.
Good job.
Xander, yeah. You have extra copies, you just.
Although, might have left my copies myself out on captions of this. I'll do the same piece of this.
Okay.
Yeah. So, because I want to be interested in that. Remember my box. I have one more. Let me go make sure my copy's on. If it's not,
Got it memorized. As he's finding his music, one of the cool things about learning other people's music and kind of going back, and this piece is from the early 17th century, so it's this guy lived in the late 16th, early 17th century. But it's as a musician, just to be able to go back and check out musical language from different times is just so amazing to me. And I think as musicians, we just to be able to digest a lot of different kinds of music, and it really does make you a better musician. It's if you're into whatever your art form is, if you're an author, you want to digest as many authors as you can. Just keep reading, and then what that does is that really kind of gives you a voice. As I write, maybe a conglomeration of all these different authors, you know, from the past and maybe contemporary authors that can kind of inform my artwork. This is the same with music. It's like you just kind of digest all this music from just different styles, different eras, and it just goes to like make you, you know, mature. It just gives you a voice, you know, not, I mean, some, you know, as Andrew's saying, but like whatever your instrument is, it gives you that voice that's just like incredible. You're kind of pulling from all these different musical languages. So I love this. This is cool that you get to
Not what I typically do.
explore this person. This is like a musical language that you get to really immerse yourself in. I love that.
Oh, hey, you're doing a great job with the language and the Italian language and all those words that are lots of syllables right in the same. Doing a great job on that. On the ending, did you intend, were you wanting to go into 4?
I think I usually like just slow that down a lot more.
Yeah.
I think I did a little different than I usually do.
Yeah, so like when you did at 46, kind of decide in your internal timing where you're actually gonna, how slow you're gonna slow it down. So if you're gonna go into 4 versus feeling the 2, somewhere you kind of gotta make a bridge between that 2 and the slowness of whatever tempo you're gonna go into. So see if you can just that passage, that would make it a little bit smoother ending for your pianist, but just the bridges it a little bit more. Does that make sense? So I don't know if you're changing that on the dotted half note, or whether it's right on the fourth count. Yeah, that just, so you can think about that before now. Yeah, I think you're doing a great job on all of that. Your jaw's nice and relaxed and
Because actually, my jaw's about to pop for half that. So I like, if I open any wider, it's gonna.
yeah,
But
yeah, and the support of your hair is becoming far more consistent. Yeah, good for you.
And did Cassandra, I'm thinking about that ending as well, did she want you to slow it down that much? At the very end, because I think that'll help you with your breath support.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, this, if she's wanting you to do that, that's fine, but I would encourage you maybe to not slow down. So, you know, maybe wait a little bit, like get through 45%, get through 47, you know, a little bit, and then you can have a little bit more, because you're not taking a breath between 48 and 49, right? You're kind of holding that.
yeah,
So once you get, so there's that breath marking right before 47. But I think maybe keeping that more in tempo, and then you get, you know, maybe at the end, the tail end of 47, begin to maybe beat 3 and 4 on those 16th notes and 64th notes, or whatever that is. Then you can begin to kind of slow that down. You know what I mean? I think that you have to experiment with that a little bit.
Yeah, and it's almost like an ornamentation
Yeah.
in measure 47. So that's kind of like ad-libbing, if you want to think of it that way. It's an ornamentation in that period of time that you can play with.
I'm not a regular contest though, so I can enjoy some of that.
All right. Oh, you have a thought?
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say, I appreciate your posture and
Appreciate it.
how you're like, you're kind of like prancing around a little bit, just a tiny little bit, back and forth. Yeah, it was nice.
That's nice.
well, you told me it wasn't nice last time, so I didn't.
Did I? Was it you? It was nice. You kept looking up, which is really nice.
The performance aspect of it.
You might have been.
We have to quit.
I think I was pretty bad. Oh,
So, you play
It's the end.
Okay, let's have you change.
Right now?
Yeah.
Thankfully, they've opened up getting up when I'm like.
Is that the one? That's cool. No, I will not go on. You're not gonna say her on?
Then I need to really figure it out.
There you go.
What are you singing for us, DJ?
Coming out kind of worse.
Okay.
As the time to give
Good job, DJ. So just a couple things. Don't be afraid to open your mouth more. And I think even, as you kind of can support, the soundboard, I think that'll help, like the intonation even a little bit. And also just just kind of for all vocalists, but make sure you're really feeling the beat of the song, the tempo. So like your phrasing, make sure, because you got to be kind of locked in with the piano, the accompaniment. Obviously, the bridge of that song is a little bit more rhythmic. One day, and then the verses are a little bit more legato. But even in those legato verses, you need to really feel where that beat is. And so, don't let the rhythm be kind of mushy and like, make sure you're kind of locked in there, okay?
Practicing with them, I don't know if you do, but practicing with the metronome would help a lot, even though they have a tendency to drive us all crazy. They're super helpful to just get you locked in on the timing.
Hey, DJ, some of your best vowels were on worship. Because when you looked at it, your jaw just kind of dropped. And then everything started to line up and it came out. Like it projected right away. And, just like when we go flat like this, then the projection of your sound goes away. So keep it all this way versus a mixture of this and this. And and all that Dr. Bratt said right there. Bratt, you've come so far.
The thing is,
So far.
you have a really beautiful tone.
Yes.
Your voice does
There's
sound
a bigger voice in there.
So I think don't be afraid to open up, and I mean it does feel kind of vulnerable sometimes to do that, but just open that mouth and just let it go, because the tone, your timbre of your voice is very, very nice. So don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid, okay? Good job, man. This is we haven't heard this yet, have we? Oh, cool. This is great. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Wow. So, what do you know about this piece?
Honestly, not a whole lot. I've tried to do some research on it and I didn't find a ton, actually. So the piece itself could be interpreted like one of two ways, and you and Sandra have kind of gone back and forth on what it's actually talking about. It's called To the Children. Not really sure if it's like a kids just growing up into adulthood and losing like their childlikeness, or it could be more about death. Not really sure. So could be interpreted one of two ways, but I can't find anything on it. So, but yeah. Children
That, like you said, wow, what a challenging piece. For me as the listener, it kind of, the sense of tonality was kind of fluid and all over the place, which puts it then on you, the performer, to kind of say, this is where I am, this is where we're going, this is what we're doing. So I would just encourage you to continue to get more and more confident in every single note. I know exactly, this note is right here, and I'm taking you from this note to here, because, and that would then help me as the listener go, oh, yeah, I see. Even in the minor and kind of unusual tonality that it has, but the message in it is it's an intense message, so it fits what you're singing. It's a cool song.
Hey, Dr. Faber, I've got a thought, and help me with it, because I don't know if I can fully articulate, but this feels like a recit, like almost like a recitative, so, and what makes me think about that is because there's a lot of repeated notes. Like melodically, it's kind of limited in some ways. I mean, there's some caresses, but so I think there's gonna have to be like a different kind of expressiveness that you do in it to, you know what I mean? Are you feeling that?
Yeah, I was just
Help
looking at
me.
like the third page. No, it starts on the second page, right at the bottom, where you kind of get that, kind of that same, you're not doing much changing, and then you go in the third page, and then you got that, but now in the mystery, all of a sudden it changes, and you've got 3 against 2.
Right.
So it's like, how do you accentuate that? And then you've got those long marks, those elongated marks, like in that single measure, right on nursery. And that ties into that russet type feel. And you've got that throughout. So if you can start grabbing onto some of those, it begins to do this, where you get depth in your interpretation. And that actually helps you interpret text at the same time. There's a lot, this is a beautiful piece. You could spend another semester on this piece. Exploring more.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's all the time. And what is the scale from the top of page 3? You start on F, and where do you end on the bottom? You end on a D flat, and that brings you to the climax at the top of page 4. So it's like, how do you build that up? That's a build. So, gosh,
There's a lot here.
you're lucky. That's lucky. I mean, it's a beautiful piece.
Yeah, as you're practicing this by yourself, speak it out loud. But now, in the nursery,
Yeah.
reigns stillness and gloom. Gone the glad voices, and then it gets really soft. No sounds.
So,
Room. Like,
so how would you say that?
yeah.
It's almost like a speech strength.
It is.
Yeah.
Good job, man. I've never heard this piece before. Have you heard this?
No, I mean, no.
All right, Austin.
Okay.
What's another rock club?
Oh, that's warm. Yeah, it's round and warm. Like a big puffball.
It's a big.
The title is coming, actually.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
another rock club. So Izzy's piece was a rock bottom piece, and this piece by Austin is also rock bottom. What's the name of this piece?
So, in my book, it's labeled the Prelude Opus 3 number 2, but I think it's the C sharp major. C sharp minor. And it's a work in progress, so. Just bear with me.
It's like, man. Oh, wow. Wow, nice job. How long have you been working on this?
From the semester beginning.
Okay, very good, very good. I'd say on that first page, like, even find ways, because it's like, the temptation is to want to kind of keep it moving along, but really just let it just kind of simmer, and don't be in a hurry. And then the challenge on the second page with those triplets is to kind of, it's like, okay, it's starting to spin, it's starting to kind of cook here, and then, but keep it under control too. Like, I mean, it's good. I mean, you were starting to like letting it move, but make sure you're not losing, some of the notes and different things there. But man, yeah, I had a great start on this. I think you're already starting to feel kind of the dynamics and intensity and phrasing and stuff like that. So just kind of keep pushing into it.
A couple thoughts I had on that. Always make sure we're hearing the melody. Like on the second page, that top note, ba-da-da-da-da. If you have to practice just that note, make sure that really clearly rings out. And then on a lot of the octaves, that top note in the octave should be like the one that rings above the rest. I had one other thought, and I don't know if you were told otherwise. A lot of those, like looking at the second half of the measures, on the first page, first you do the octaves, bum, 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 and then you do the low notes and then go up to the chords above. I noticed a lot of times you would hit the low note, and then when you got to the higher notes, you pedal off and then put your pedal back down. And I wonder what it would sound like if you let those low notes ring while the top chord, like it was all one great big chord. So, you hit the pedal, hit the low note, and then the top note, and then when you go back to the next, then pedal up, and then.
We raised that today, actually. We were like crazy with pedaling, so like I need to work on that.
That was just a little thing that I noticed, that you had these great low notes ringing out, and then they get dampened, and you hit the top notes above. And I thought it's kind of like one big group, those things. But yeah, and like he said, the phrasing, some of those are really, really, really long phrases. So you have to think of those as it's really, really long. This note starts here, but it doesn't end the breath the whole way, like till the great big chords that you did right before you stopped. I mean, it all leads to that pow, and then the triple forte, fortissimo. That's a wonderful tune.
Yeah.
Nice job on it. Very nice.
Guys, we will see you Friday. Well, I'll say see you tomorrow, but see all of you Friday.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, right. Oh, I know. That's just the brother there.